Only touch greatness.
Hey, it's Carter Hutton here, NHL goalie, and coming up on the episode of I Only Touch Greatness.
2021, signing in Arizona. What was it like to play for that disaster of a franchise?
Yeah, it was. I hurt my ankle with the Sabres, and I got that deal. I was in a boot. I had major ankle surgery. I was a mess, and so for me playing, I was trying to catch a moving train. I was so far behind, and it was cool. It was good. I think they have a good thing going down there. The GM, Bill, pardon?
They did have a good thing going. Apparently, yesterday they just.
I know, yeah. Until this rink got scrapped, I know that's heartbreaking. But I mean, like what a mess. I feel for those guys, right?
They're going to Houston.
Yeah, is that? I know I've heard that.
I think it's Houston, Kansas City, or Salt Lake. But.
Yeah, because it's kind of a plug and play, right? Houston's ready for them. So I feel like if they had the right facility there in the right place, it would be awesome. You know, it's a good place to live, man. It was cool. Like we had a pool in our backyard. Our kids are swimming. The boys are like, even you just go for lunch and you're on a patio and it's gorgeous. So we're like, talk about how easy is it to recruit guys when you're trying to pull guys into like Edmonton or Winnipeg when the weather's tough, right? It makes a big difference, especially with like families. But it was good. I think they have a good thing going down there. I think they're trying to be strategic over the next few years with the way they've protected picks. But it was definitely an interesting scenario. But I think Armstrong's doing a good job down there. He's intense, but they've got a good staff there. He's kind of abolished the way of thinking like old school in a sense. Like he's definitely buying into the modern age player with like the staff and the training and the way they handle things. And I think that has a lot of appeal to younger guys because these younger guys are different than the old breed, man. It's not the same. You can't treat them like the old, like, you know, if you kick me in the ass, I respond better, right? I like go and work harder and do that, where you can't do that with this younger generation.
No, because they're all soft. They've had other parents gave them yes, yes, yes. No, instead of no, 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 and kids are soft now.
Yeah, it's not like not everyone is, but it is definitely different. There's a disconnect like socially too. Like I think these kids grew up with phones and with, you know, where when I came up, I was probably in the middle where like the old school guys, like you talk about like, you know, JR and Jumbo and these legends, right? They were like probably too far the other way. Right, where now everybody's in so much shape, it's hard to like act that way and still like sustain on the ice. But I think there's a happy medium of like socializing in moderation and still partying, having fun and doing dinners and like the team aspect where these kids are caught in their phones or video games or like they're so antisocial. I found later in my career, like trainers, equipment managers, these guys became more of my buddies because they're just like salt of the earth people, guys that you could have a beer with. And like when I talk to them, it's eye to eye.
That's for sure. I mean, I totally agree with you on all of that. And the 2022, you announced your retirement. Do you know it was time?
Yes, I did. I knew it was time probably before that. I'd probably say that last contract was the first contract I ever was just like, I'm doing this purely for the contract and, you know, padding the account. I was just kind of done my ankle and I was just hanging on by a thread. But so I definitely was at ease making the decision. I was actually like, it was almost like a weight was lifted off me, right? You know, there's just so much that comes with it, right? It's not just the bright lights Saturday night. I don't want to act hard done by any means, but it's a grind, right? It consumes your whole life. So it was nice to be able to be done and now, you know, be around for my kids and do the, you know, there's days where I'm like, I wouldn't mind being at the Ritz right now in New York City and going for dinner, but it's okay. It's all right. I got my little guys and my buddies and my family. And now if I have a little too much to drink, I'm not worried about the next morning.
Yeah, no kidding. I hear you on that. Talking about Arizona, Old Town Scottsdale. Did you ever go to Dirk Bentley's whiskey bar?
No, I never. We went to, where'd we go? We go to Riot House.
Okay.
And what was the other? Oh, Bottled Blonde. That's always a good one. That's like the big, there's a bunch of good spots there. And those ones were good. We went there last year. It was like New Year's, like 4 of us. So we all went out and so, you know, when you get a bottle service, they bring out like the marquee sign. So they have like a giant marquee sign and you can pay and get whatever the sign is. So the young guys love me because I'm older. Obviously these young guys so we're out there with me and my wife and 2 other couples are in town. So we're all partying and a bottle comes out and the sign says Huts fucks, right on the sign for me. I think it was Clayton Keller bought it or Nick Schmaltzen. So I'm sitting with my wife and we're all partying. She's like, I'm like, honey, Huts fucks just means I'm cool. That means they like me. Doesn't mean I'm fucking anybody. So it was kind of pretty funny when the sign came up. And then the next time we went out again, bottle service, and the sign says Hut's still got it. So every time I went out to the club, I got a sign. So I knew I was still liked by the kids.
Oh, there you go. You get a picture in front of it?
Yeah, I think I got a couple of them. Because you know what actually happened was my wife and our close friend, his wife, they ran a half marathon that day. So they ran the half marathon and then we went out that night partying. And so we're in the club, a sign comes out for me or whatever. So then I asked the bottle service girl, I was like, hey, how much is it for a sign? And she's like, the cheapest I can do is like $1,200 for like the bottle and the sign or whatever. So I'm like, hey, honey, you're not getting a sign. So I remember I had a photo of it and I just photoshopped on it like my wife and our friend's name and like, good job on the run. And I like sent it out in the group chat. I was like, this is as close as you're getting to a sign.
Hey, that's pretty awesome. I mean, yeah, what a ripoff. Bottle service is the biggest ripoff around. And I love Old Town Scottsdale.